red candles burning, dollar cost average. We drilling in the market. Trade these stones, you know I'm a savage. Dollar cost gains, the only thing that's average. Charts keep rising, candles burning bright. Costs turn red, no rising in sight. Trade these stones, you know I'm a savage. Dollar cost gains, the only thing that's average. Charts keep rising, candles burning bright. Costs turn red, no rising in sight. Yeah, gains multiply, out here sniping. Say you calls when they look enticed. Cold with the ops, call it ice cream. Watch it melt, drip green all on my screen. Claim alpha, but you really beta. Slow death, man, call me that theta. Ivy was high, Delta couldn't save you. Premium's gone, market just play these stones. You know I'm a savage. Dollar cost gains, the only thing that's average. Charts keep rising, candles burning bright. Costs turn red, no rising in sight. Trade these stones, you know I'm a savage. Dollar cost gains, the only thing that's average. Charts keep rising, candles burning bright. Costs turn red, no rising in sight. Don't do me no favors, snapping like gators. Stay sharp in the streets, body by razors. Money print to go, ream after ring. Fool with this paper, I'm living the dream. Nobody can save you. Tendy's got you fiending behind Wendy's. I've seen it, scheming. Penny stocks cheap. Thought you hit a bargain. Now you shop Benz. Margin call starving. Trade these stones, you know I'm a savage. Dollar cost gains, the only thing that's average. Charts keep rising, candles burning bright. Costs turn red, no visine in sight. Trade these stones, you know I'm a savage. Dollar cost gains, the only thing that's average. Charts keep rising, candles burning bright. Costs turn red, no visine in sight. Charts crash, beats blast. Cash vanish quick, but the bar still lasts. Street math, drill wrath. King of the stonks, I just laugh at the past. Broker of the block, selling dreams in the rain. Every candle that collapsed, tattooed on the chain. Losses in the ledger, rhythm never changed. Turning red lines to rhymes, profit off the pain. Charts whisper demons, 808s, keep me sane. Broke on the paper, but they chant my name. Bear market anthem, drill rap in the flame. Losses sound like victories, that's the game. These stonks. Trade these stones, you know I'm a savage. Dollar cost gains, the only thing that's average. Charts keep rising, candles burning bright. Costs turn red, no visine in sight. Trade these stones, you know I'm a savage. Dollar cost gains, the only thing that's average. Charts keep rising, candles burning bright. Costs turn red, no visine in sight. Stones down, beats up, sage flow, paper cut, dead market drill, forever. It's pretty simple. Yeah. By the dip. Yeah. By the dip. Let it slip, let it flop from the tip of the top. Not the drip, but the drop. With no limits at the stop. Kill the ops when it flips. When the kitten bounces on the trip. When that green candle melts down to a blip. By the dip. 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 I've come a long way from panic selling when it sinks. Eat my cheese with blue chips, you still messing with them pinks. I don't book my losses, but I'm steady reading charts. My trades stay lined up before trading even starts. Before I used to get all OMG on GME. Now I watch my 8s and 21s while watching CME. I ain't talking Jesus when I say I'm looking for the cross. Looking for the drop, then I start lowering my costs. All I need is one tick, why the wallet's so thick? No magic, no tricks, till these candles John Wick. On the dial, not a single drop across my brow. Wait, Captain of this shit, catch me standing on the bow. Put my money in, double down in Excel. You pinch pennies tracking bills on Excel. Win or lose, I don't sweat my P&L. If it's down, you only lose when you sell. By the dip, let it slip, let it flop from the tip of the top. Not the drip, but the drop. With no limits at the stop. Kill the ops when it flips. When the kitten bounces on the trip. When that green candle melts down to a blip. By the dip, by the dip, by the dip. By the dip, by the dip, by the dip. Yeah, yeah, yeah. When you buy high, why not buy it low? Buy it when it's shrunk, got the drip and let it grow. Here you go, lesson learned, give you that one out for free. Even if it tanks, I just turn auto on and let it be, that's just me. I got carbon running in my veins, locked in, bought the dip, now it's running up my gains. Don't be lame, do the same, start to grow that money tree. I found out what it was, now I say what's gonna be. Ask me my favorite trade, I say my last one. Ask what's my exit strategy, like I have one. Been in it for a minute, now I'm holding till I'm finished. No emotions in this game, staying cold, it's just business. Buy on earning misses, buy one raising interest. Blessed by Papa Pal, can I get a witness? I creep the Wall Streets on hood, here's a tip. Grab your phone, tap your screen with diamond hands and buy the dip. Let it slip, let it flop from the tip of the top. Not the drip, but the drop with no limits at the stop. Kill the ops when it flips, when the kitten bounces on the trip. When that green candle melts down to a blip. By the dip, 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 by the dip. Yeah. Stonks only go up.
You wouldn't, it's my birthday. You probably don't know this because, you know, Jew. I know exactly how he must have felt. Jesus. You give and you give, you give your whole fucking life. And what happens? People just tear you down. Why do people destroy their gods?
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. How's it going? Happy birthday, me. Hold on, I had Eric as a moderator. All right. How's it going, everybody? I was throwing everything together last second. My keyboard was dead, etc. You can eat me. I figured we'd kind of go over what my 20s entailed, but then also I know 100% we're going to get sucked into option stuff. And I have my portfolios I want to go over. I want to go over my Roth because I haven't posted a video in quite a while. And one of the videos I posted was me YOLOing my Roth. And I want to go over my personal portfolio, probably Autopilot, how screwed I am for tax season next season. And then most importantly, I want to go over debit spreads in a little bit more detail because there's a lot of people trading with smaller accounts. And when I trade with leaps, they can be very over leveraged or over allocated, etc. So I got to get this out of my hair. Eric's in my ear, but I can kind of hear myself. Okay, wake up here. So what else was I going to say? Okay, in the description, you're going to find a few things. If you check it out, that'd be the biggest birthday gift to me. The first one is a separate channel that's like a hybrid between me like answering like stock and options questions and gaming at the same time. It's just like a side thing. It's fun for me. I enjoy it. I'm gonna figure out a way to like incorporate it better so it's like gaming and like answering options questions at the same time. So it's a little bit chaotic. And then, of course, you're going to find my Autopilot, which is, if you guys aren't familiar, most of you are, you can link your brokerage account to a portfolio of mine that I actually have linked to one of my own accounts so that I'm not just slinging other people's money around willy-nilly. I'm actually trading with my own money as well. And the trades automatically happen in your portfolio. And then lastly, well, second to last, is you're going to find a link to the premium Discord, which we'll talk in a little bit. And then also, shout out to, is my mic on, right? Yeah, good. Yeah. Okay. A shout out to Gooseman ULTD, who is in the description below for the music as well. That stuff is baller. I was laughing my ass off the first time I saw that. So what does it feel like to turn 30? I almost want to read an email, although it's like pretty sentimental, that I sent to my mother. A lot of you guys know the absolute fucking rambunctious nightmare bullshit Eric and I have been through since September of 2021, when we first got encephalitis and into remission by the end of 2024, and then dealing with treatment-resistant depression all through 2025, which we're still working on, and it's getting better, but it's still quite difficult. And now we're entering 2026. But there was a promise I made to myself over and over, and it was that I was going to get better by 30. I turned 30 today, and I beat the buzzer by quite a large margin. Eric and I both did. Sometimes I have to remind myself that better is not perfect, because for me it was, let's get out of like betterment not having encephalitis, but I'm still fucked up in the head. I mean, you guys know that quite well. But that does not mean I missed my goal. I hit my goal. We hit our goal by a year. If I still had encephalitis by this point, that I can't even imagine, dude. 3 years was enough. So I set the bar pretty fucking low, and we did a big old leap right on over it. A little play on words and leap there. So let's see what I want to do first. Well, you guys tell me. We can do. I don't think the background needs a whole lot of context. I mean, Michael Burry. Okay, let's think about it. Michael Burry, what? He went short or bought a bunch of puts on like Palantir, Nvidia, some other semiconductor stocks back in like 2023. Like a fucking idiot. He always thinks that he's going to reenact the big short again. And that ate him up so bad that he shut down his fund. I mean, he said in his words, roughly I'm paraphrasing, that he has not been and is not currently in sync with trade. What does it say, actually? I can pull it up. Michael Burry closes fund. I died reading this, dude. Let me find the letter. Here it is. Let's see if I can switch over to my display without it like messing everything up. Okay, mic's still on. Yep. Yeah, I'll show the portfolio. Don't worry. I'm going to show everything and my thought processes and all that kind of stuff. Don't worry. But this cracks me up. I don't know if you can read it. It says, I can't really zoom in. Wow, it's having a stroke. It says, "Dear investors," with maybe you've read this, but it says, "Dear investors, with a heavy heart." There he is, with a heavy heart. I will liquidate and return capital, but for a small audit/tax holdback by year's end. By my estimation of value in securities is not now and has not been for some time in sync with the markets, which number one cracks me up, because it's almost like he can't understand that stocks can be overbought or overvalued or whatever beyond their intrinsic value, and you can capitalize on that. He actually, his whole thesis is exactly that, is that things are overvalued, and therefore he's going to go short and the stocks will go back to their intrinsic value, what they're meant to be, the current value of all the future cash flows it creates, discounted by the risk-free rate, which is a bunch of bullshit term for basically saying, if we take all the cash flows this company's going to create in the future and discount it by the risk-free rate, which is like short-term treasuries, I believe, what is the current value of the stock, the intrinsic value of the stock? Well, he thinks it's lower than it is, and it's being hyped up by AI, which it definitely is. But the funny thing is that he says his estimation of value in securities is not now and has not been for some time in sync with the markets. His estimation of value is probably pretty correct. What he doesn't realize is that in long-term bull markets, especially when they're not going like straight vertical like in 2000, that's when you should be taking advantage of things, especially in 2023. I wish I had the wits about me in 2023 to be more leveraged into AI. It was just kind of shit back then, but I should have been able to smell it coming. Because then you ride the froth of the bubble, and then the bubble starts percolating and forming, which I think is happening now. And we'll talk more about that too. And then right as mania hits, that's when you start de-risking. And I'll talk more about how I'm de-risking my portfolio and not trying to time the top as well. And then I don't know what happens when you call that phone number or whatever. Anyway. the AI stuff is going to be huge, right? Just like how the internet was going to be big, right? But people were buying pets.com or bullshit companies that had no earnings, which do exist. There are pocket bubbles right now that do exist. Hey, can you put on some headphones? Eric. You're right. Thank you. Can you bring me water too? I need water. What the fuck was I saying? What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. Oh, you were saying he doesn't understand how AI stuff is going. Yeah, the internet obviously transformed everything, and we use it day to day like it's fucking nothing. When I send a text, it goes up to space to a satellite down to my brother. I'm not using Wi-Fi, who is sitting like 15 feet away from me, and we take that all for granted. So the .com bubble was just buy everything internet, and then it died, and then you see how much tech companies and internet companies that withstood that actually had profits, like Amazon, etc., grew thousands of % across time. And so, but this is a little bit different with the AI bubble, because it is forming into a bit of a bubble where there is, in my opinion, ultimately going to be a correction, but it's not as significant as the .com bubble. Eric, if you'd bring me some water, that'd be fucking awesome. Let me talk a little bit, answer some questions, and then I'll talk a little bit about why I think we are entering the bubble-ish period, which is where I personally believe a lot of the money can be made, but you have to be really, really careful, because the last 3 years was easy money. There's no guarantees that there won't be a year of a drawdown where earnings get rocky, and then mania hits. Like that happened in the 1990s, late 1990s. So it's not guaranteed that you won't have a year where there's a drawdown. But I think it is pretty certain that there's going to be a little bit of mania, not as bad as the .com bubble, but there is going to be some mania to be taken advantage of. Let me thank you for the happy birthdays. I appreciate it. You said, Daddy, what's up? You said, sup, Adam, introduced me to options like 6 years ago during lockdown with no experience. This year I started an internship at an investment fund. Fuck yeah, dude. You could probably teach me a thing or two. Am I still long or bullish on Hood? I am technically long on Hood, at least in my Roth. I've lost a lot of interest in Hood. Let's pull it up on TradingView. Ignore the fact that I'm on a free account right now. So I actually took some risk off at a pretty good time. So let's go zoom. We go full screen here. Okay, so here's where I was interested. I could actually, let me get out of full screen. Get me out of here. Let me go to my portfolio here, my profile. I don't post very often. I did for a bit, but I don't post. So I said Hood undervalued given future prospects, and I'll zoom in a little bit here. So it says Hood undervalued given future prospects, right? This was back in January 24th, 2024. So about 2 years ago. Well, holy shit, it was my fucking birthday. So 2 years ago to the fucking dot. What was that? So December, or maybe that was the last time I made my edit, but December 22nd, what is it? December about 22nd of 22. I was looking at Hood when it was $7.99. And now, Eric, if you want to go to my YouTube channel and look it up, Eric, are you there? Eric, are you in the Discord? Worst moderator ever of all time. It's his birthday too. Can you go to my YouTube channel and look up? Fine, I'll say it, and then post it in the chat, because it's a video that goes over this whole thesis. It'll have a Robinhood logo on it. That was back when I had encephalitis. But it was trading at $7.99. That's when I was really, really interested. Eric is my twin brother. He's my identical twin brother. I'll have him stop by and say hello. I can't drink after encephalitis, unfortunately. Slash fortunately, because I was a bit of an alcoholic beforehand. So in the chat is the video that goes over all of this. But basically the idea behind my thesis was that, and you can mute yourself now, Eric, is that at $7.99, the market capitalization, Eric, mute yourself. Market capitalization was about the same as the cash they had on hand. Everyone just fucking hated the stock because of GME mostly, and because their earnings weren't that great. Although you could see that the trend was moving upwards if you watched the video. And my whole idea is that I did several polls on my community and kind of asked, where did people go? And a lot of people went to Webull, but a lot of people didn't realize that Webull did the same thing. Every small brokerage did the same thing. Even large brokerages like Thinkorswim, or back then it was TD Ameritrade, but now Charles Schwab. TD Ameritrade limited margin requirements because they couldn't handle it because they had to post collateral to the DTCC for trades before the trades cleared, and if they have to post like a bajillion dollars of collateral, that's all their liquidity, and so they had to limit margin. That's why Robinhood turned off the stop button. Nobody realized that. They think it was hedge funds colluding with Robinhood, et cetera, and some of you guys might still think that, and you're an idiot if you do. And then nobody realized that eventually, given the fact that cash on hand equaled market cap, basically, eventually people who were 16, 17, whatever, were going to roll up into 18, 19, 20 and start using Robinhood because of its pretty UI, all that same things that attracted people initially. And they're not going to give a shit that their older drunk brother in the parents' basement is pissed off about GME and for other reasons similar to that. So, let's see if I talk about anything else that was relevant. So you can watch that video, go into full detail. So that was when I was really interested. It was $7.99. Now, if we look at Hood, it's trading at $106.99. Am I still long on Hood? Yes, I think it's going to be a little bit more seasonal now, as far as because it's going to revolve around trading activity. The more trading activity, the better. I was bullish through all of this, like basically up until recently, because they kept rolling out new features, their credit card, their banking services, which isn't really a bank. It just kind of sucks actually. And the more I used those services, the more they felt weak. So like with the credit card, oftentimes they would lock it, even over pretty standard transactions, and they would have to review it and then unlock it. I did not like that at all. I like the virtual cards, whatever, 3% cash back, yes, but then you use their banking stuff and you realize that transfers out and in are very slow. It's not an actual bank. If you want to like apply for a home and get a mortgage, it becomes quite difficult because it's you might be pulling money in and out of your brokerage account a lot because it's linked to the brokerage account. It becomes a bit of a mess. And then they have no physical branch, no one you can really call for help, which I have to do with my bank from time to time. Like Airbnb tried to fuck me over. I have to call them to show them that I'm being fucked over and there's a dispute and I get my $4,000 back because some bitch in New York is trying to steal my money. You know, Robinhood isn't going to give a fucking flying shit about that. Eric, if you can bring me some water, that'd be fucking great. So at this point, it's like, yes, I'm still long Hood because it is now the popular brokerage. I'm almost done talking about Hood, but it's now the popular brokerage. You see screenshots of it everywhere. It's just like the good old days. And as soon as, markets dip, this is going to dip too, but there's going to be a lot of trading activity, which is going to boost their earnings. And especially if mania hits around the AI stock bubble, et cetera. So I'm still long on Hood, but I've definitely decreased my allocation significantly. Back when it was at $7.99, I had bought a bunch of leaps and I ended up selling because I thought, well, this could take years to turn over. And it actually did not take that long at all. A little bit unfortunate. So that's what I'll say on Hood for now. I'm kind of curious if we can take a look at their financials really quick. And then I'll get to the other questions, et cetera. Again, I'm on a free account because I have not renewed this. Where do I go to financials again? Calories, buying, no, it's back here. Thank you. It's just plain water. I just didn't want Mio, not like he was putting tequila in here or something. Some thanks, 678. Thank you for the $10. I'll get to you in just a second, I promise. So let's look over the financials really quick. Let's see. So let's do growth and profitability over annually. So you can see from 2020 all the way up to 2024 how much they've grown as far as net revenue and revenue. The margin has increased substantially. You can see that earnings can, what's this, 2024, we gotta go to annual. We're so negative in 2021, but have grown to be positive, but also are starting to flatten out. These were huge jumps initially and are starting to flatten out. That kind of thing is what makes me less interested in Hood. So I got to keep my mouth moving on to other topics or my brain will burn out. All right. Only issue I have with Hood is their banking is kind of bullshit. Yeah, that's I used them for a minute and I went right back to Chase. It's the cashback's great, going straight to your brokerage account or whatever, but the banking's like, what's the point? You get 3.5% APY in your checking, but like none of the benefits of having a real bank. P is still low for its level of growth. Trailing 12 months is 44, which nowadays is low. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just more focused on AI exposure. What is the updated net worth at 30 Adam? Longtime subscriber, love the channel. Let me get to the $10 donation because that's only fair. And I'll get back to the guys. Some thanks, 678. Happy birthday, Adam. Hope all is well. Thanks for teaching me and my bro about options. I'll be reviewing and watching your content a lot more once I have more money. Happy birthday to you and your bro. And don't forget that you can always throw $1 in or whatever into VU. Like you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing, or you can do debit spreads that are cheap, etc. So, I think it's a good way to start a portfolio, even if you don't have a lot of money. It's just like throw $1 in every once in a while, and then into a safe ETF. And then when you're ready to like get your hands dirty, then you can divulge and start doing other things. But or you can put in savings or anything like that. But I appreciate the $10. Thank you very much. So my updated net worth of 30 Adam is low-ish. It's not low, but it's before encephalitis, it was like almost $500,000 if you included my Roth. If you include my Roth now, it's also still quite high. So let's go over my net worth, shall we? So in my, because that's always people are very curious. I get paid quite well for what I do, especially for not being super active, and but the life circumstances have taken a lot from me financially. So I don't have any debt. I always my credit score is like 801, which I'm really proud of, actually. So I literally only have $14,823 in my bank account. Who wants to calculate this? Ready to do it? You want to do a calculation? Let's do it. Okay. My net worth. So we got 14,823.84. Okay. Then we go to my investing accounts. This is an account called From the Grave. If you are in my Discord, ignore this right here. That's Fun and Awesome Gamers, by the way, so don't get offended. If you're in the premium section of my Discord, aside from the dope ass giveaways I do, you can ignore that anyway. I have trade alerts for my individual account. I have trade alerts for my Roth. I don't use any program for my Roth. I just update people. I used to do it in this channel, but I moved it to a separate one to keep my individual and my Roth separate. And we'll kind of go over those a little bit. But you get access to, and it's in the description below, like live options and stock alerts. And it's different than, and people often ask, what's the difference between Autopilot and this? And hold on, the difference is that with Autopilot, I'll show you. Actually, I keep going full screen, then when I exit, I don't want to disclose anything I'm not supposed to on Autopilot. So give me just a second here. So I have several portfolios on Autopilot, but I was early on and I didn't really understand how it worked. And so the only one I really take super seriously is my actively managed portfolio. And so we can come here and we'll make this full screen for a second. So there are my allocations for now. They change from time to time, but right now I'm really happy with how things are sitting. See, I'm still long hood. And I've just kind of let these stocks like shift in allocation just based on how much they've made. Not so much. I've actually feel very comfortable with this allocation. And so I haven't touched it a whole lot recently. And if I go to portfolios and then actively managed, and then hold on a second. Where is it? Grow home. Here we go. So I have 4,391 active subscribers, which is $26.6 million, and they say COA, not AUM, which would be assets under management, but capital and Autopilot. I'll get into more questions and I'll do more spitfire answers here in a second. I'll just go over this and my Discord really quick. So this is different than my personal account because even though I have money actually in a separate account linked to Autopilot, it's like a little over $1,000 just so I can track things and like have my own money attached to it. So I have some like, reason to not be just rambunctious with other people's money. I treat this differently because it's $20.6 million versus my like 11 or 12,500. And this is really small, and I'll explain why in a second, but it's so much bigger. And so I have to be careful because I can't make people buy dips. I can't assume people will tolerate a 50% decline in their portfolio like I'm fine with doing. In my individual account, I can trade spreads, I can trade leaps, those kind of things. And that's where the Discord Premium is nice because you can see what I'm doing as far as options go, but it's a whole different vibe. That said, the return still is like pretty good. We're almost at a year. I can't wait. I started in January 31st. We're almost there. So almost 1 year. Up 80%, which is really exciting. It's been a ton of fun, but that's what makes it different. Oh shit, you can't see it. That's really embarrassing, sorry. So here's the performance, right? Allocations, and then I think it's under portfolio. I keep going on loops. And hold on. I'm sorry for not showing you. Portfolios, home. I was talking a lot, but here's the amount of subscribers. Here's the amount of I can't say AUM, but capital on Autopilot. The money that is subscribed to me. That when I make a change, it affects $26.6 million. That's why it's different than my smaller portfolio of. That's my Roth. We'll talk about that in a second. Of $12,500. It has a different vibe. I can trade spreads and options. That's where the Discord Premium is for. Etc. So let's move on because I'm getting way too wrapped up in this. So the Discord Premium, right? It has the trade alerts for. Okay, that's Eric. So the trade alerts for individual allow people to see the notes, etc. And if you click on the link, you can actually see like my profile, where I opened it, what my profit and loss is, my screenshots, etc. Why I'm doing the trade, that kind of thing. Yep. Okay. Let me get to some questions here so I can stop going in circles about that. But something to look into if you're interested, aside from Autopilot, although Autopilot is great. Okay. I'm going to rapid fire. Sahil. I'm saying your name right. I say bullish on 2028 leap call. I can't answer that question. What call? What do you think about SoFi stock and starting to enhance their investing side? I think it's better than Robinhood banking. I haven't. I've been watching them, and you hear about it a lot on social media, which usually means that when you start hearing that hum, things are going to be bullish at least for a little bit of time. and we'll go over my net worth here some more in a second. But I don't know, something this doesn't appeal to me about SoFi, with their, I don't know, maybe someone who's used them more. I used them back in the day, but who's used them more, maybe they can tell me why it's so appealing. I don't really get it because there's no physical branches. There's like, you get APY, yeah, but like it's based on like certain perks and stuff like that. It's like, maybe gamified banking is fun. I personally don't enjoy it. I like being able to go down to like Chase Bank and be like, I need a printout of all my statements for the past how many years in paper right now. And they'll be like, no problem. And they print it all out and give it to me, you know, or download a CSV file, etc. It's just, yeah. So anyway, I'll keep answering questions, but let's open the calculator back up again. I've totally lost how much my net worth is. 14,823 is in my checking. I'm going to end up paying double rent here in just a second, so that's a bit of a bummer. Then I have 2,250 in savings, which is kind of sad. 17,000 whatever. Then if we go over to investing, it's 12,565. So plus 12,565 is 29,638 is my liquid net worth. That's it. And the reason for that is this. Oh, it logged out. Told Eric this would be an hour, but of course my mouth is just going to keep going forever. And it feels good to talk to you guys. I mean, I haven't talked to you guys for like ages. Is this. This is less than the taxes I owe in April. The reason being is I took an unqualified Roth distribution of about $144,000 for fMRI guided TMS, and that becomes taxes ordinary income and pushes you into a higher income bracket. I actually owe more like 90K at least, and so I have to add to that. So this is not liquid. Nothing I can do about it. Sucks. I also have supported, if I'm being honest, supported Eric because it's a struggle because he had no like work system beforehand that would pay him to roll him into post-encephalitis land, and it's very hard to work in post-encephalitis land. You know, I have the right job where I can put as much effort or as little effort as I want into it, and my payout depends on how much effort I put into it, but I can live off of it, while Eric it really struggles. And so I gave him, I'm not going to disclose the amount, but a large lump sum gift at the beginning of the year, and so that also decreased my net worth. So that is my liquid net worth is about 30 grand. Now, if we look at so this is from the grave. I have some spreads, right? I have a leap on iron just because I want AI exposure still. Now let's answer some questions. So far I kind of talked about. I'm glad the early videos on options helped you out. We'll talk about my Roth in a second, which is actually, I'm killing it there. And then something you said, if we're still talking Hood, go long. They probably making even more money from sports futures. That is true. They're what do you call them? Not binary contracts, but whatever contracts. Are probably printing, but I think it's a little gross to integrate it into a trading platform. I will be right back. Thank you for standing by. I forgot what I was talking about, but Sport 2, I bought a 2-year iron call thoughts. Well, if you look at my Roth, what do I have here? Do not, if you, Eric, if you're still there, if you want to link to the video where it's titled, I'm leveraged to the tits in the AI bubble or something like that. That's this portfolio. So, can't see it. You want me to zoom in or what? That should be pretty visible. We'll just turn zoom into full screen. And I do want to pause for a second. If you guys wouldn't mind subscribing to like my in the description below, the kind of like stock talk gaming thing, because I'm incorporating Eric into that, and we're trying to figure out if we can like split income or something and help Eric have some side income while he figures out what to do with work. And it's fun as fuck. So if you want to do that, that would be great. I really appreciate it. Hit the bell too. Otherwise you'll just never see it pop up. Okay. So this is my Roth IRA, which is a monster. So you said, okay, I gotta be quick, dude. Holy shit. I'm falling behind. 2-year iron call. Let's see here. These are some YOLO calls. I have, so this will be in my Discord when I change shit. I have iron calls that expire in a year. I have iron calls that expire in 2 years. Those are YOLO iron calls. Is that it? So 70, 45, 65. And those two expire in 2 years. So I have them. How do you think about the break-even energy sector in general? Agree with the dead log in your background. Or not break-even. I'm sorry, I'm just not, I don't dabble in the energy sector, so you're gonna have to explain what BE is. BE is it a stock? Bloom Energy? Because I don't pay attention at all. I couldn't give you advice on that. I'm sorry. Meta leaps from 600. Let's go back. Shall we? Retirement. And we'll scroll down. Can we see my P&L? That'd be great. Total percentage change. Now you're going to see some of these are kind of small-ish. I mean, some of them are quite large, but Meta 600, right? So what I do is, instead of trying to time the top so much, is what I do is, as things get really in the money, is it's not showing again. There's my where is it? Where the hell is it? Meta. There's my 750 call, right? Set that down 24%. I think I had another call option on Meta though. Right, this is my YOLO. This is my YOLO portfolio. Here's the other one, right? 600 call. My Google out of the money options have done great. So you see some of these are like up 9% or whatever, but I've been holding these for a while now. So like, what happened? Well, what I do is, as they get really deep in the money, is I roll them, because in a Roth, it's not a taxable event. So I can roll them up, just basically up at strike. I don't really roll out in expiration, because a lot of these expire in 2 years. So I roll them up in strike, make them cheaper, take the cash that's left over. And besides the last time when I just threw a bunch of iron YOLO calls, which we'll see how those pan out, I move it into equities, into these guys. And so as these become profitable, I keep rolling up for more leverage, because as you get deep in the money, the delta gets closer and closer to 1. The value of the option gets closer and closer to equaling just how much you hold of the stock. And so your leverage goes down. It goes from 1.8 to 1.7, 1.6, 1.5, 1.4 times leverage. Yes, your break even gets lower, which is I'm always a fan of in your individual account, or if you're not going full YOLO idiot like I am. But as that leverage dies down, I want to increase my leverage in the AI sector. So whoop, up goes my strike. The cash that is now freed up for the option that is now cheaper goes into stock. And that way I'm not exactly trying to time the top, although I am watching quite carefully. Let's keep moving on. Do I work in tech? No, I work on this. Can't see it. No, you can see it now. Are you holding any leaps? Answer that question. You're not sharing your screen. I can't see it. All right, answer that. Is that Ivy or LV? LV, happy birthday, Adam. I have been watching your videos since high school. Holy cow. If I work in finance and can only buy options with 1+ year expiry, any tips you have on how I can invest outside of leaps? Sure. These are just tips, like personal opinions, not advice, is gauge your time frame, gauge whether or not you're going to need liquidity. Because if you go into something heavy like the tech sector or volatile like the tech sector, and there's a huge drawdown and suddenly you need money, such as in a recession where there might be a huge drawdown and you need the money, you don't really want to pull out when it's on a huge drawdown, right? So think about your time frame, risk tolerance, all that kind of stuff. And that's going to really affect how you invest. Like for some people, it's like, just do like maybe just all VU. I try to steer myself away from VTI because that's just not enough for me. But for some people, it's like VU and like maybe QQQM, like 50-50 split. And it's just a place to like put your money where it's a little bit safer in these ETFs, not individual stocks, and you don't have to worry about it. Other people want to, they don't mind higher volatility and will go and having to the concentrated, 10 stocks or 15 stocks like I do, and don't mind the volatility if it drops 30% or 40% like it did back in 2022 when I was literally only holding stocks. So it varies a lot, but the first thing everybody should do when they're trading is steer away from anything leveraged, steer away from anything volatile, and just dip your toes in. I don't know what you said exactly if you've even watched my videos and you work in finance. Maybe this is not answering your question directly, but outside of leaps, let me answer your question more directly. When you already have leap options and you want to invest outside of leaps, and this portfolio is a really bad example because it's a YOLO portfolio, so I'm going to hide it. Outside of leap options, I try to keep my leap options about 10% or under the value of my total portfolio. No more than 5% to any individual leap. A little bit flexible, but that's my general rule. And then outside of that, I try to avoid buying stock that have the same tickers as the underlying that the leaps have. Because if the leaps die down, so do the stocks. And if I want to reinvest the leap by selling the leap option, taking money from stocks and refreshing it, bringing the strike down and pushing the expiration out or whatever, I don't want to do it from the same stock that's also down. So you want to diversify your holdings outside of leaps. And it can also be a good way to, well, maybe you do want to do just VU and leaps. So that way you have like this standard return plus some leverage, So that's really up to you. But the only thing I can really suggest as a possible way to invest when you have leap options is to, I didn't put ads on this fucking video. Oh, whoops. Anyway, I don't need ads. Just subscribe to the gaming channel. That's all I care about. Eric and I enjoy doing that a lot. That's all I care about. I don't really give a shit about ads. This is just fun, although time is getting on. So yeah, you kind of have to dabble in like what you feel comfortable with. This is a terrible example because it's like my YOLO. Anyway, we can see the performance. So here's 1 week, it's up 7.5%. 1 month, it's up 15%. Year to date, which is not that long, 24 days, it's up 19%. 1 year, it's up 100%. But about right here is when I started leveraging myself with leap options. And then all time, you'll see that it's made more money than I actually have because of the withdrawal. And in fact, my 1 year return right now is a little bit inflated because I took a withdrawal somewhere in this period for fMRI guided TMS for my depression. in New York, and that will affect the percentage. It's going to inflate the percentage. So really the year to date and like 3 months are going to be good. 1 year, you could probably assume closer to 65 to 70%. Yep. I'm not even showing you again. I'm so sorry. So here's a 1 year, year to date, 3 months. Here's all time, right? Made more money than I actually have. Yep. And I'm not going to break down each position because that's for the Discord people. And then, yep, I have some money tied to nothing in my individual. So there's my from the grave where I'm kind of starting fresh finally. I have some money in Autopilot. I'm going to start adding more to that. And I have a YOLO snowball. I'm not even going to show you because it's just negligent and I don't want to mislead people into thinking that's an okay way to invest. Okay. I gotta keep going here. Sorry, my brain's gonna burn out. MetaLeap, I don't work in tech, can't see it, or holding leaps up, sharing screen, can't see it. Happy birthday. Answer that question. Go back to calculations. I already did. My net liquidity is 29,000 plus my tax savings for this upcoming year. Actually, if you subtract, like I don't actually have that much money because of how much I took from my Roth out of desperation. I'm trying to go back and find contributions as far back as I can go. It's proving quite difficult because those would be tax free, but I'm not sure I contributed a whole lot. Most of these are just straight earnings. Autopilot has been great for your Roth. Good. That's the goal. I can never promise amazing returns, but I can promise I'll do my fucking best because, you know, when I started, I was really nervous because you're dealing with a lot of money, and but I've gained some confidence as time goes on. But I'm trying to keep my confidence tempered because you don't want to become overconfident when managing that much money. You want to be careful. So, happy birthday! Thank you, Satan. As always, good to hear from you. So sorry, something said, I don't know what you're apologizing for, but you're fine. Deep Value DGen says, hey, what do you do for a living? This is literally it. So it's Autopilot, YouTube, affiliates. I would like to do more. I want to do a podcast, would be really fun because obviously I have no problem rambling. Besides my brain gets tired. As you can tell, I'm like, my voice is starting to drop. And then I would love to do some weird like mashup, like there's a link in description, the channel. It's Jordy Belfs. I want to do some like weird mashup between like finance and gaming with my brother Eric as like a side thing, not like as a main income thing, but that would be really fun. But really Autopilot has been a big thing. The premium Discord kind of, but I've actually given away more in giveaways than I've probably made. So I'm actually probably net negative on that. But that is another way I make money. But it's all revolved around my YouTube channel. And I'm really grateful for Autopilot because my YouTube ad revenue died like fast, and I can show you. And part of it is because of my inconsistency, and my inconsistency is due to my neurological sequelae. So if I showed you lifetime, or like this past year, this is past year. Hopefully I'm not doxing anything here. So I got about almost 1 million views in the past year, and I made $10,000. So yeah, and so like per day, like it's $18, $12. So it's good passive income, but you know, it's $10,000. And this dropped off a cliff. So if I did like, let's do a different year. Let's do 2024 to 2025. Hit apply. So it's 20,000. So my ad revenue is higher when I was sick even. So like if I go to 2022 to 23, I was very sick, but I made 56,000. So even though I wasn't putting out, like, I guess I was putting out more videos when I was sick than I was 25. That's about the same amount of videos. This last year, probably not so much. What is this? Like so far this month, I made $365. So Autopilot really, whoa, sorry. Autopilot really came in and saved the day because I posted on X. I was like, I should start my own ETF. And they were like, well, we're kind of doing this thing. Like, do you want to hop on as a pilot? And I was like, hell yeah, that sounds awesome. And I was really nervous. I didn't really know what to do as far as like portfolios. And so I made like a lot of different ones, actively managed, and then like Magnificent Seven and the panic button and some other ones. But then as time went on, I've been kind of talking to them about like, is there a way we can kind of like move people off and so I can make new portfolios that actually make sense, or like mimic leaps a little bit more closely or something like that? Because the other portfolio, it was like a brand new thing. So it was just like, we didn't know where this was headed. And so I would just throw, I just came up with 5 ideas on one day and threw it out there. One of them was actively managed, and that became the one that I focused on the most. So that's what I do for a living. I got a loan from them, 25K consolidated debt at 8%. I forget how long ago that was. I need to catch up on all these. Adam was a big follower back in COVID days. Glad your health has been improving. You've helped me learn so much. Wish nothing but the best for you and your brother. Happy birthday to both of you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And thank you, Karsten, as well. I'm really behind. Happy birthday. Thanks, man. You're the GOAT. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Jimmy Hodigan, haven't even looked at the chart. It hurt me too bad back in 2020, 2021. I lost a lot of money. I actually sold for a huge gain and then felt like a pussy and got back in and then lost it all. When managing leaps that have decreased in value, do you set a percent you roll down and refresh, or is it intuition? Do you set a percent you roll down and refresh? Like a percent return? No, because I might buy a leap option that's at the money, and I might get a really high percent return, but not end up that deep in the money. What I'm looking at really, but you have to be a little bit careful with longer term options because the deltas can become quite skewed, where even at the money options can have a 0.7 delta or even higher. Now I could get into details of that, but that would just be exhausting. What was I just talking about? Eric sent me a message. My brain just something about being. What was the question? Oh, it's it becomes based on leverage. So you basically take you know, the delta and multiply that by 100, which is equal to how many shares you have, an equivalent, right? And then you divide how much the option is worth by how much 100 the similar amount of shares would be cost if you bought them outright, and then you get your leverage. So like, for example, if I had an option that had a 0.8 delta, right? It had an 80, we'd say 80 shares worth essentially. And the stock was trading at, we'll make it easy. We'll say it's trading at $10. So then it would be $800 if you bought 80 shares. Or fucking A. This might be too complicated for my tired brain. 80 delta on your leap option. And let me type it out. So we have an 80 delta on leap, 80 shares equivalent. So it would be 80 times cost of shares. Then you take cost of leap divided by cost of 80 shares. Okay, sorry, I need to write it out so I didn't lose focus here. So we can do an example, maybe on like Thinkorswim here. So if we, maybe there's something cheaper, but that's fine. Let's say our leap option has a delta of 80. Well, how much would 80 shares of this leap option on AMD, for example, cost? So we're going to round up to 260. Well, we multiply it by 260. is $20,800. And let's say our leap option has a value of about $16,000. Well, then you take 16,000 divided by 20,800, and then you get your leverage. You can add a 1 to this basically, so plus 1. You have a 1.76 times leverage. And so as you get deeper in the money, it's going to shrink and shrink and shrink. And so that's when I want to roll up basically, because especially at least with the 2-year ones, because the deltas are so skewed. When you're looking at like 1.5 years out or 1 year out, or sometimes 2 years out, it's more like you can use delta as a good gauge. When you start hitting 0.9 or 0.95, it's like there's not really a whole lot of point of holding that. But you also want to consider long-term capital gains tax versus short-term capital gains tax, etc. And I am going to wrap up soon before my brain completely farts out, because I want to have some fun today as well. Holy fucking shit, dude. $80. Fucking A, brother. Oh, I'm grateful. Don't think I'm not grateful, Stratted. I'm grateful as hell. I'd be living with my parents right now if it weren't for this shit. Like, I'm grateful as hell. How did you get such a high net worth, 500K almost in Roth? Well, let's take a look one more time, and then I'll get to the person who just paid $80 fucking dollars. So go to retirement. Let's take a look. So we go to all time. This is in 2022 is with my withdrawal. It's actually negative 39, but let's go to a $0 balance. Since 2023, I turned, I don't know, like $100,000 into $347,000. So trading, that's how I did it. My contributions have been minimal, and this goes back to 2022. So it's been over a decade since I've had this up in 12 years. I actually don't want to contribute to my Roth anymore because I might die. I'd rather not. I'd rather have liquid cash. All right, $8. Happy birthday. You've made a difference in my investing. Keep getting well. Thank you, McGoo. McGoo. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, bro. I'm actually gonna pass. I'm gonna pass all these donos right along to my brother. He's having a rough day on his fucking birthday, and so I'm just gonna pass it all right along to him. And he's struggling financially and all that. So I'm not trying to jerk myself off here, but they're just gonna go to him. I don't need it, obviously, as I've shown you, so they'll go to him. Okay, I'm gonna have to wrap it up here to calm my brain down because I am gonna stream. Oh shit, Jesus Christ. I think we are gonna stream some games at some point here soon on the channel in the description below. Puts on Apple thoughts. I personally wouldn't. And when I say personally, I'm saying I'm not giving you advice. I actually hate puts. Even though they would have made me a ton of money. Like I wanted to buy, I bought a leap, basically a leap put on Duolingo. I made a video about it. Eric's gone, so my moderator's dead, I think. I made a video about it. Duolingo's like a piece of shit stock. I'm trying to say that they can make tutors using AI just as good or better than normal tutors, and I had a leap option, and if we look here, that would have been great to hold. I think I sold on this bounce, so that's a little bit unfortunate, or maybe it was, I think it might have been this one. So that would have been a lot of money. HIMS is another one. I might open a credit spread because implied volatility is so high. I think this is a $0 stock. For many reasons. The one of the main ones is they're compounding pills into whatever the fuck they want to. And I just want to say one more time, McGoo, thank you so much for that $80. That means a lot. But the most important thing is they're starting to do testosterone replacement therapy. I'm on testosterone replacement therapy. It is not easy to manage when you start. I'm missing a testicle. I had Cytoxin. I actually was hypogonadal beforehand. So I started testosterone in like 2020. And if you look back at my videos, you can see I look quite healthy because of the testosterone, but it was too high of a dose, had a lot of estrogenic symptoms, etc. This is, it might all be jargon, but, and then people start throwing aromatase inhibitors at you and your estrogen crashes and you feel like you want to die, and then your estrogen gets high and you feel like a bitch, and then you're like greasy and sweaty and big. So, but they're going to start prescribing the worst oral version of testosterone from a distance, doing blood draws from your arm, which are notoriously inaccurate, and prescribing oral testosterone, I think it's decanoid, which is just terrible, and then moving on to injections and managing it with somebody who is online and does not give a shit about you. I got my antidepressants back in the day from them, and I was like, hey, I kind of want to try this one, and they just gave me a different one at a random dose. Like, there's no reliability. And then what do you do if you're like, well, I'd like to stop? Well, you stop, guess what happens? Your HPA axis or whatever is shut down. And so when you stop taking testosterone, your natural levels of testosterone are tanked. And so you're going to feel like absolute ass because your testicles are the size of fucking raisins. I can validate that because the one testicle I have left is the size of a raisin. A little bit unfortunate. And so you don't have natural testosterone production. It takes time for that to come back, and it may not come back fully. So it might cause a lot more harm than good than if you were to actually talk to a professional about it. And so I think they're a fucking $0 stock, especially as other people enter the field that were already there to begin with, like Amazon and stuff, to start prescribing, you know, the fat injections or whatever. I have no idea what a super chat is, but I don't want anything. Go and enjoy the day. Okay. All right, guys. Didn't you used to own hymns? I did. I did. But as always, I leave the Eric's taking a nap. Hold on. One second. Okay. Here's. I did own hymns. It was once an Autopilot. And then once they started talking about testosterone, I'm going to slow down a little bit so I don't cook myself. Once they started talking about testosterone, and once it became apparent to me that they really have no edge in this industry, they're just the first ones here. The competition's going to flood in like crazy. And you can see that in the stock chart. I'm kind of curious. I haven't even looked at their. A lot of the times, my theses around stocks don't involve fundamentals. They involve more of a story. Sometimes fundamentals can help back it, but it's more of the story that says more than anything. Because if you look at Duolingo, their monetization, everything, gamified, whatever, it was great, but their stock tanked. Why? Because you can't even look at the financials yet. And the story speaks for itself. They're going to invest a bunch into AI, and you're going to have a tutor that's better than a human tutor. That's pets.com. That's what I mean by like pocket bubbles of AI, is these companies that are investing tons of money into AI. Yes, it's a money earning company, but that is money going straight into the fire. And that is why you see the stock chart tanking. And now in the end, ultimately they might have a better product and you might see the stock rebound slowly or aggressively or whatever, but the pullback is going obviously significant. With hymns, they're clip it, somebody clip it. My opinion, $0 stock. Let's take a look at the overview of their financials really quick. Okay, we want to do like annual. So price to earnings trailing 12 months, not like terrible. What are we looking at here? 42, 45, 43, 62, 104. that's weird because their price has dropped and yet their PE ratio has gone up. Usually it shrinks. So if you want to go back to overview, we can take a look at, let's look at annual financials. Looks really promising, right? But then you look at earnings, up and down it goes. And soon this will enter negative and they're going to be railed in the butt. Let's go. I'm buying here. Target is 57. Who's seeking 25? Keep buying the dip. Keep buying the dip. Net income. Anyway, that's my opinion. I talked to them about options on Autopilot. Very complicated because, you know, what if I buy a leap and you can't afford it? Or, you know, and what about spreads and execution and APIs and all that? It's already a bit of a struggle with stocks alone. So that's that. And I'm tired. I'll pick back up soon. It's just this fucking antidepressant I'm on. It's very complicated, and to be honest, I dropped my dose down too low. It's called Parnate. I was on 30 milligrams for like 4 months, and I didn't realize how much I was cooking my noodle. Like I wasn't even in reality, and then I dropped down all the way down to 15. And yesterday, all of a sudden, my mental health just went right through the floor, and almost to the point of feeling like spooky, like I had encephalitis again, like this kind of spooky, psychotic spookiness. Don't call welfare check on me, anybody. I'm fine. But it was just like, oh shit. And so then I had to go back up to 20 today. And so I'm a little bit, you know, off kilter. And then it has this weird triurnal rhythm where it's like in the morning you get this push of catecholamines, right? Norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin push. You get this morning push, then you get fatigue, and then you get kind of a slump in the afternoon, and then you get this big wind up in the evening. And so that's really frustrating to deal with, and that's what I'm trying to minimize. And you know, for months I went with like 3 to 4 hours a night of sleep, and I actually became hypomanic because of that. And then once I started getting like 7 hours or at least 6 hours of sleep, which was not consistent, I didn't get that consistently, all of a sudden the hypomania died and I felt like shit. And you know, then I started realizing very recently that I was like, I am on a dose that is cooking my brain, and especially in the evenings. And so too much catecholamines on a post-encephalitic brain. And so right now you're hearing the afternoon slump hit. Okay, how did I get so knowledgeable about trading? By almost reading nothing. Almost reading and watching nothing. Early on, I watched a lot around options and that kind of thing. There's no other way to learn it. You learn through a book or whatever. So I watched a lot, probably a lot of like Tasty Trade and that kind of thing. And then after that point, it was mistakes. It was mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake, losing money over and over and over and over and over again. Buying puts on AMD when they were going up that expired in 2 weeks, you know, doing earnings plays, doing credit spreads, which I now hate unless you like I can't buy put on HIMS because the implied volatility is so high that even if I think it's going to go to zero, no, but there's just not a lot of liquidity. I don't know. I still could, but it almost feels better to do just a really large. Let's take a look, because this is something I've been thinking about the last couple days. Let me take a look at HIMS. This is just my own opinion. Like, I could be totally wrong about HIMS, absolutely. Like, maybe you guys have a different opinion, whatever. But with my, this is just my opinion. So we can take a look at HIMS, and like, if I wanted to do like a January 2028 leap option, that's a put option, and like, I think it's going to go to 0. Let's add some more information here. Eric's napping, so I'm just going to keep talking. It's fine. I'm just going to talk at a slower pace so I don't burn myself out. We want to see, it's been a while since I used to get them. Here you go. Volume and open interest. So like, if I want to buy a put option that's out of the money, like, there's no volume. There's a little bit of open interest. There's some open interest with slightly in the money ones, but even the volume's not that great. And the bid ask, you can see, is quite wide. But at the same time, if I personally do think it's gonna go to 0, over what time frame though? Do I think over 2 years? Maybe. And then it doesn't really matter about liquidity. I just hop in here somewhere in the middle, and then once it hits fucking $1, you exercise, right? Or gets close, it becomes a penny stock, then you exercise. At that point, you'll be so deep in the money, you won't even care about selling. The extrinsic value will be so small, you just exercise. So that's one way to do it. Or if you don't want to if I didn't want to throw that much capital into it, I could do like a big credit spread, which would be, to call credit spread. You can see there's a lot more open interest when it comes to call options, but it's because there's more positive sentiment around Hood, which I am just a contrarian about. And the bid asks are much tighter, and so the liquidity would be much better for a credit spread. So if I wanted to sell, let me think about this. Like, if I wanted to sell, it'd be much easier to get in and out if I wanted to sell a credit spread where it's like, well, I think, if I sell, I can't sell super deep in the money because I might get a sign, but there's so much time till expiration, it's unlikely. So I could sell, looking at open interest and volume, like I'd probably want to sell somewhere, like this would be optimal, but I'd rather do it deeper in the money. So it's a little bit complicated. But you sell something in the money and then buy way out of the money. So that way I'm not exposing myself to such a high implied volatility. Because if we look at the break even, and I'll look at your guys' messages here in a second. If we look at the break even on HIMS, this is optionsprofitcalculator.com, and we'll select the option. I'll look at your comments in a second. I have to zoom out to select expiration, maybe. Reset. So we'll do that, and we'll do like the lowest strike on the puts as possible, and then hit calculate, right? So like if in 2 years I think it's going to be $0, like it's still, my return at 1150 is going to be break even in 2 years. So it depends, it's just a lot to think about. I'll shut up. I heard. Let me text Eric really quick. Stand by. I'll be back to answer more questions. I just want to see if he wants to do something else. If he does, I'll move right along, and maybe we'll start streaming on the other channel. So stand by. I'll be back. Don't worry. hit Eric up. I think he's sleeping. He's not having the best 30th ever. Again, if you guys want to donate, it'll go straight to him. I'm not gonna beg for it, but if you want to say happy birthday to Eric, it's one way to do it. Okay. How to get so knowledgeable about trading mistakes and sitting and thinking. You'd be surprised what sitting and thinking can do. Like, for example, for in the money options, where they say it's, strike price plus premium paid is your break even. It's actually like, no, it's more like stock price plus extrinsic value, because that's what decays off. Eric is telling me I need to stop streaming, so I'm going to stop. Implied volatility trackers out there. Yes, there is one. YouTube. Oh. Financial. Bar chart. Bar chart's pretty good for implied volatility, historic volatility, IV rank, IV percentile. So that's a good one. I know I look 32 because my eyes are baggy as hell. I'm unshaven. My brain melted for 3 years, and I'm depressed. Not as depressed as this guy, though. Any thoughts on Netflix? I'm just not interested. Netflix, I've heard a lot of people talk about it. Haven't even looked at the chart. Just don't care about Netflix to be personal level. Did I invest in gold? No, I didn't. And I got to call it because Eric's calling me. So I'm going to end the stream now. If you guys want to subscribe to the gaming channel down below, hit the bell, whatever. I'll continue to talk about options and stuff. But Eric will be there and we'll be streaming together and games and stuff. And it'll be fun. So we're going to do that in just a little bit. So if you want to do that and hit subscribe, I know it would mean a lot to you. So if you could do that, that would be great. And that's it, because I don't want to burn my brain out now, because I'm supposed to have some amount of fun today. This is really fun for me. And so it's hard to stop. But that's it. So subscribe to that channel. That's what I care about the most. I know there's plugs and shit. Thanks, Gooseman ULTD, for the music. Thank you guys for showing up for my birthday. Thanks for the chats. Thank you, Nicola, for that happy birthday. And there's Eric, the breast scientist. I guess he's watching, or at least reading the stuff. Again, Eric, plug your ears. I'm gonna hit the end screen. Okay. All money is going to, you know who already said, he probably wasn't watching, so, or she, or they. So if you're feeling a little generous, if you've made some money from Autopilot, if I've helped you out in any way in the past, throw it his way, okay? I'm not going to take a cent of it. But more importantly, we want to have fun. So go to the description, subscribe to Jordy Bells, and watch me keep rambling about this bullshit in between either dunking on nerds or getting dunked on myself. And I will try to not say any slurs while gaming. But if I do, I will have to stop the stream and make it private and restart it. I can't promise that won't happen. It's not my fault that in high school, everyone called me slurs. You know, because I look a little gay. Because I had some, I painted my nails and they're starting to chip off, looked a little gay. Some people called me, they're not a fun word for gay. And so sometimes that slips out of my mouth. It's like when you have a bad relationship with your dad, maybe, and then you pass it along to your kid. It's kind of the same thing, except for I take it out on unemployed 20-somethings online, like a true adult should as they move into their 30s. And now that I'm 30, it's weird to be gaming, but yeah. I hope you can hear me. I'm whispering quite a bit. They would say, "Hey, slurs, give me your lunch money." true. It's actually not true. I was pretty much a Chad in high school. Come on, Eric. Thank you, SideQuest Ally. I remember when I first started this channel with Ally Bank. I was talking about Ally Bank. I called it Ally. Thank you for the $20. Really appreciate it. And yeah, Eric was not a Chad. I remember he was sitting on a railing one time, and I was walking out. It was really mean. I have a lot of stories like this. Sally. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Side quest Sally. Of course it's Sally. I was walking out of the high school entrance, and he was sitting on the there's like a railing. Yeah, I think I just had high testosterone or something. And I just walked by. I just pushed him right into the bush. Or Eric can give me more examples, but I think I took his girlfriend's phone, and don't clip this, but I threw it in my pants because I hated her. And then I thought he was blocking the stairs, and so I grabbed his backpack in front of me and just used him as a shield to get down the stairs, and everyone got really pissed. Oh, yep, there's Eric talking about that one. And then I'd have him pick up from my girlfriend's place, and he'd drop off my girlfriend at the time when I was like 17 or 18, and I'd be like, I'm just gonna say goodnight real quick, right? You know, give a kiss or whatever, and then we'd disappear for like an hour, and he would get so mad because he's stuck in this Oldsmobile, waiting for me, you know, and oh God, he got so pissed, and yet he never left. What a good friend. All right. Goodbye, everybody. I was going to talk about debit spreads, but that's everything. I've talked about my portfolios, my net liquidity. My income comes from, we're skipping debit spreads for today. And talked about the Discord, the gaming channel, break evens, leap options, everything under the sun almost. If you guys have any final little tidbitty questions, now is the time to do it. Otherwise, I'm gonna leave. Yep. Podcast. That is something I want to do. Okay, I gotta call it here. I'm addicted to this shit. I love streaming. And I will see you guys in probably an hour or so after giving my brain a break. In the gaming, where you can ask me more questions, but also be gaming, and maybe with our buddy Alden. And so in the description, subscribe to that channel, hit the bell. It'd be so much fun to have you guys in there. Another way for to get watch hours and generate revenue for Eric, and then I'll just kick people with affiliates, you know, in my description. But it'd be really fun if we can get you guys in there, and yeah, it'd be awesome. And Autopilot's great, Discord's great, whatever. But honestly, I just want to have fun. So if you wanted to subscribe to that, that'd be fucking amazing. And I love you guys, each and every one of you, in a special and unique way. You guys are the fucking best. I appreciate all your support and understanding of my inconsistency over the past fucking 4 years of trying to post videos when I can't and all that kind of stuff. And you guys have shown compassion beyond my ability to fathom. When we were sick, when we did the GoFundMe, when we were sick, all that money went to obviously to medical expenses. And then, you know, the In the Money Health channel, which maybe Eric can link in down below, you know, tracks kind of our whole experience. And it, you know, it was rough, man. And it's still rough, but, you know, we're still trying to get our footing. It's uncharted territory at this point. And but I do feel like entering my 30s is kind of shedding old skin in a way that sheds kind of the dark past, but also, you know, my soul's 1,000 years old after what we've been through. So it feels good to just get the youth of my 20s off of me, even though a lot of people dread turning 30. And so, yeah, with that, thank you guys for the happy birthdays. I love you very much. I'm going to play that Homelander clip one more time, and I'll see you on the gaming stream down below. Jordy Belfs, if you forget, you can just find it on YouTube in not too long. You don't see the gaming channel in the description? That's in there. There you go. Jordy Belfs. I'm going to spam it. This is all I care about. Okay, too many spams. Go sub, hit the bell. If you don't like it, you can unsub later, okay? All right, with that said, goodbye, love you, check you later.
You wouldn't, it's my birthday. You probably don't know this because, you know, Jew. I know exactly how he must have felt. Jesus. You give and you give, you give your whole fucking life. And what happens? People just tear you down. Why do people...
Lined up before trading even starts. Before I used to get all OMG on GME. Now I watch my 8s and 21s while watching CME. I ain't talking Jesus when I say I'm looking for the cross, looking for the drop. Then I start lowering my costs. All I need is one tick. Why the wallet's so thick? No magic, no tricks. Till these candles John Wick. On the dial, not a single drop across my brow. Wait, captain of the ship, catch me standing on the bow. Put my money in, double down and excel. You pinch pennies, tracking bills on Excel. Win or lose, I don't sweat my P&L. If it's down, you only lose when you sell. By the dip, let it slip, let it flop from the tip or the top. Not the drip, but the drop with no limits at the stop. Kill the ops when it flips, when the kitten bounces on the trip. When that green candle melts down to a blip. By the dip, 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 by the dip. Yeah. When you buy high, why not buy it low? Buy it when it's shrunk, got the drip and let it grow. Here you go, lesson learned, give you that one out for free. Even if it tanks, I just turn auto on and let it be, that's just me. I got carbon running in my veins, locked in, bought the dip, now it's running up my gains. Don't be lame, do the same, start to grow that money tree. I found out what it was, now I say what's gonna be. Ask me my favorite trade, I say my last one. Ask what's my exit strategy, like I have one. Been in it for a minute, now I'm holding till I'm finished. No emotions in this game, staying cold, it's just business. Buy on earning misses, buy one raising interest. Blessed by Papa Pal, can I get a witness? I creep the Wall Streets on hood, here's a tip. Grab your phone, tap your screen with diamond hands and buy the dip. Let it slip, let it flop from the tip or the top. Not the drip, but the drop with no limits at the stop. Kill the ops when it flips, when the kitten bounces on the trip. When that green candle melts down to a blip. By the dip, 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 by the dip. Stunts only go